Alright, so this is my 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. Sounds like a lot of people have issues where the idle seems kind of all over the place. Recently on my car, I noticed on my boost gauge, the boost or the vacuum pressure seemed to be, normally it would be at like 20 to 25, and it seemed like slowly it was getting down to closer to like 10. So I haven't really been driving this car while I'm trying to figure out what was going on with that situation. I figured it was a vacuum leak somewhere, but really couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Well, today, at one point I was trying to figure out how to get the air conditioner to work. I believe the air conditioner clutch is not working, but while I was trying to figure that out, I was also trying to figure out the vacuum leak issue. Now, prior to trying to install a different throttle body, I had like an aftermarket throttle body that I at one point tried to install. When I installed it, it seemed like I was having all sorts of problems with the way it was idling and everything. It seemed like my idle issue was like all over the place. So I put the original throttle body back on, and unfortunately it seemed like the idle issues didn't really get much better. So what was happening is I would have to set the idle to about 1500 RPMs just to keep the car from stalling out. There's times where when I come to a stop, or when I put in neutral and kind of coast to stop, the RPMs would drop and almost stall out and then kind of creep back up. When I set it to about 1500 RPM, it seemed like at least it might drop towards like 1000, but it would come back up, so it didn't seem as bad. But I knew that there was some issue somewhere as far as a vacuum leak somewhere. Well, today, while kind of messing around with the car, unfortunately I didn't get on film, but I discovered the vacuum leak. So right here you have this T-fitting, and you got this vacuum hose. That vacuum hose goes all the way back there, goes underneath the dash, and that vacuum hose is the one that I use for this boost gauge. So on some of the other models, they had an option where you can get the boost gauge and everything mounted over here, or one of the two, and that runs underneath, on the passenger side, runs underneath the dash. And I noticed that on this side, kind of over in that area, I noticed that like there is a joint that was there, as you can see right where these fittings are. There's like a little inline joint there, and this vacuum line here had a tear all the way across the vacuum line. So essentially there was a tear that went up across here, and this vacuum line, this vacuum line over on that fitting was barely even in there. So at one point I was reading close to about 8 or 9 pounds of vacuum, and I was honestly getting really kind of scared, because obviously you don't want anything to happen to this car. But essentially, when I pulled that vacuum line out, I noticed that it was barely on that little cup link, and when I went to push it back on, that's when I noticed that the hose itself was split. Plus, it didn't have any hose clamps on it. So in addition to refitting it, I cut back that vacuum line, so I got rid of the part where it had the cracks. But on top of that, as you can see here, I now have hose clamps on it. Now, when I start it up, Now when I start it up, the boost is back to right about where it should be, right about 20 or so. When you get off the gas, like if you're under boost and you get off, it'll drop down, or it'll go to about 20 to 25 pounds of vacuum. So right now, I think I kind of resolved it. I kind of took the car for a spin, and it seems like everything's running really well. It actually gets on boost really well now, and seems to be idling pretty good. Right now, it's staying about 1,000 RPM. I might lower that a little bit, closer to like 900. But as of right now, I think I might just leave it at that for now. But man, I'm so happy. That's like such a relief. I know a lot of people have had issues with Evos, with vacuum leaks and everything. And I know a lot of people will have the idle surge, which I was one of those people. I was having that quite a bit, and it was getting quite irritating because when the idle surge happens, you know, there's times where you're coming to a stop and it's just so really happy about that. That was kind of a big issue that I wasn't sure. I figured if anything, I might have had like a crack in the intake manifold or something like that was causing this issue, but really actually happy about that. And for anyone who's got this idle surge issue and, you know, suspects that they have a vacuum leak, check this vacuum line that goes across here and back to there, back behind in the passenger side strut tower there. Check to make sure that the connection for there is not frayed or broken apart, because that was what the case was with mine. Now my car drives great. There is still issues with this car, and you know, obviously I'm still going to be making videos with all the additional stuff. I have another motor for this that at some point I need to start rebuilding. I want to kind of do like a block up build for that, but just extremely relieved because that was kind of a major issue, and it was something that I was getting kind of worried about, because if I lose all vacuum, you never know what's going to happen. So anyways, thank you guys for watching the video again. Hopefully this helps other people out. You know, I really love these cars, and you know, it'd be nice to see as many stay on the road as possible. I know the issue that I have with mine, it's probably exclusive to mine, but you know, other people may not have the same vacuum leak, but it is something where, you know, I changed the intercooler piping, I changed a lot of stuff. I got the I forgot what it's called. It's basically like the coolant bypass and everything on here, and the EGR delete on this car. So that's why I got these little vacuum caps on the top of the throttle body. But yeah, so like I said, I don't, you know, hopefully this helps other people out with their 2003 to, what is it, 2006, or yeah, I think 2006 Evos. Hopefully this helps you guys out. And like I said, I'm going to keep on making more videos and see what else I can discover here. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, subscribe.